Yeah. Good day, you guys there. Wonderful. Happy to see you coming alive today. Yeah, it's a pleasure having you. Yep, great. Yep, good day, all you guys there. How you feeling today? How you feeling? You are welcome on board. Today, we want to look at a very fundamental key topic, and that is um, education. We want to look at five dimensions of education. You'll be thinking about what actually is going on there. Today, we are to look at five critical dimensions of education. That is, you'll be wondering actually, you've gone to school, you've had everything all, but yet you still remain broke. You remain probably unfulfilled or confused about what actually life needs from you. Okay? You I'll be asking you actually what is all about life. In reality, you've been to school. Life is not all about certificate alone. Yeah. Success in life is never built on certificate alone. Success in life is built around so many things. Yeah, yeah. Success in life is built around so many things. It is not only about certificates. Okay, if success in life is built about certificates, I bet with you, professors will not be that poor today. Every professor must be rich. Because when we are talking about certification, when we are talking about reading, when we are talking about learning academically, professors are richly there. But no, that is not. Academic education is only one out of the four or five we have to discuss today. Yes. Academic education is only one out of five, so remaining four. The truth is just this, okay? Life reward those who have all-round education. It is not only a person that has only just one out of five. So today we'll try to look at five fundamental dimensions of education. Good five. We look at good five. Okay. Imagine you are able to understand yourself. Just imagine the life you'll be living when you understand yourself. Okay. You understand yourself, you understand your hopes, you understand your weaknesses, you understand everything about you. Okay. Then just imagine you are just good in terms of calculating, you're just good about how to sign contract, this and that. Just imagine if you understand the spiritual life. Can just imagine all this. Now, you give me time, just go along with me. Let's hear together the reality of what we call five dimensions of education, all around education, where you can have a life balanced. We'll be discussing this going down, but let me just try to give you these five. Let me just try to give you these five dimensions of education. The first one is personal education. The first one is personal education. The second one is academic education. Second one is academic education. The third one is marketplace education. Okay, marketplace education. The fourth one is spiritual education. Spiritual education. Then the last one is financial education. So please be under rapt attention. How each and every one of these determines what actually happens to you in life. How are you coping? How all these ones are very important, greatly important for your life, for your progress, and other things you are doing in life. How are they very important to you? How important are these? Each and every one of these dimensions of education are important to you in your life. So get set and let us go one after the other. We'll take this. The first one, as I said, is personal education. Imagine you are having a personal education. Imagine in the world where we are today, you don't understand yourself. This has to do with understanding yourself. Know who you are. Talking about your strengths. Talking about understanding your weaknesses. Talking about you understand what triggers angers in you. Talking about what actually prepare joy, happiness in you. Okay, this that is, you come to understand who you are. What are your weaknesses? What are your strengths? Okay, you come to understand all these things about yourself. You be asking, you be looking at yourself. That won't I understand myself? So that is not the issue. The issue actually is, do you understand yourself? The reality is just this. Many people understand you more than you know yourself. And that is actually the real thing we are talking about. Take time to study yourself. Who are you? How do you react to issues? Do you have, can you manage your? So the first dimension of education is knowing yourself. Like Aristotle will say that the first step to greatness in life is understanding yourself. And when Aristotle is referring to understanding yourself, that is, he is referring to knowing yourself. Okay, that is self-knowing. Okay, this comes to self, your personality, your originality. Who are you? So it's very important. We come from non-self or non-self. Okay, you come from the blind self. Okay, you come to know more about you. It is the first thing. How your impulse, your emotion, your maturity, how you react when you are discriminated against, how you react when you are having challenges, how you are able to manage anger, how you are able to manage tribulations, how you are able to manage successes, how you are able to manage challenges in life, your emotional stability. All this has to do with your personalities. So your ability to manage all these things speaks volume. Your ability to manage this is very critical. So personal education is very important. It is about you study about yourself. It's about your ability to manage yourself. It is just your ability to maximize the potentials you have within yourself. This is the critical we are talking about. And it's the true foundation of economic empowerment, human empowerment. Because you need to understand yourself, you yourself. How can you manage yourself? This is the critical thing. This is the first step. The first step of education, the first layer, the foundational layer of education, your ability to understand yourself is very critical, it's very germane. So that's the first one. Now coming to the second one. Coming to the second one. The second one is what we call academic education. Yeah, I know. Oh, sorry, if you are joining for the first time, please kindly subscribe, hit the like button, in the comment section, put your comment there. Let me see you. Let me hear from you. Let me hear your opinion. This will help a lot. So let's go forward, move. If you are joining for the first time, please hit the like button, please. Subscribe and go to the comment section. Your comment, your opinion, your observation. Let's interact, let's chat, let's interact, let's talk. Hi guys there. Yeah. Now I'm saying the second level of education is academic education. Under this academic education, you think about you'll be saying that, oh, certification is overrated. No. If you are saying academic education is overrated, then try ignorance. Is it not highly expensive to be ignorant? But at least when you have academic education, it might not be able to make you wealthy. But when you don't have it, it can make you poor. So you see, it's very important. At least you'll be able to count. You'll be able to count 1, 2, 3. You'll be able to do little arithmetic, little mathematics. Okay, you'll be able to read. You won't be in a community where you won't be able to differentiate between left and right. You'll be able to sign documents, to sign contracts. You'll be able to know. You'll be able to navigate. You'll be able to face realities of life, the ability to critically think. Okay, no one will cheat you, no one will deceive you. You'll be able to differentiate. You have ability to think reasonably. This is what we are talking about. I am not saying until you are a PhD holder. No, that is not what we are saying. But to an extent, you are lettered. To an extent, you are educated. This is critical. This is critical. Academic education is very important. Academic education is very critical. Okay, you'll be able to logically reason, logically think. Okay, you'll be at least you'll be able to work as a team. You'll be able to communicate with people around you. You'll be able to reason. You'll be able to add up things when you have academic education. Now, bringing the first one, that is personal education, add it to academic education, making it two. When you are able to understand yourself, then you are educated, you can reasonably think, logically think. Bringing the two together. Imagine if you don't understand yourself, but you are academically educated. You at times you won't be able to understand your nature, your temperament, your anger, your weakness, your strength. You won't be able to know all this. And that is why that only academic education is not enough. You need personal education as well, bringing the two together. Okay, this will strengthen you, your ability to understand life. But this is not enough. You still have three more that you need so as to be efficiently coping with the reality of life. And that is what we call bringing them together as 5 dimensions of education. I've mentioned the first one, that is personal education, that where you are able to understand yourself, you are able to grasp your strengths, you are able to understand your weakness, You are able to know your temperament. You are able to know yourself, the known self, the unknown self. Because on a normal day, you think probably you have known yourself better until you take critical attention. You choose to understand who are you. And that is exactly what we are seeing. Now, coupling this one with academic education, that is attending a formal education, having formal education. When you are having your formal education at this critical time, this will allow you, this will enable you to be able to read. This will enable you that no one will deceive you, no one will cheat on you. You understand, you'll be able to critically think. Okay, you understand the basics of life. At least you'll be able to navigate through the basics of life. You'll be able to grow along the life. And that is exactly the essence of uh, uh, academic education. That you are academically educated does not make you above others. Does not mean that, okay, when you are academically educated, you are entirely be rich. No, and that's why you see some people, graduate of engineering, graduate of this and that, are still remain poor, because there are other aspects of education that are very important in their life that are left untouched. So academic education is not the beginning and the end. No, it is part of the necessary education you are supposed to have that will strengthen you to make you great. And like I said, the first one is personal education. Now, followed by academic education. Then you now go to the third one, and that's spiritual education. Having spiritual education goes a long way to assist. Having spiritual education goes a long way to help. Because the reality is just that when you, in reality, whatever happens in the physical life started from spiritual life. So life itself is divided into two, the spiritual aspect and physical aspect. There's nothing taking place at the physical realm that has not existed from a spiritual realm. As I'm thinking now, as I'm talking, you are listening to me. What I'm saying is not just coming from my mouth, it's coming from the spiritual aspect of thinking. The thought is just, first of all, formed from the invisible to the physical, where you are hearing, you are seeing me saying something, you are hearing me saying something. And that is what we call that invisible realm we are talking about, is what we call the spiritual realm. Now, like for instance, now the house where you are now, before it is built into the physical life, it has existed in the spiritual life. That is, somebody thought in his mind on how to design the building. And from the heart, the design came alive. Now, from the design, the building exists. So there's nothing that is taking place in the physical that has not existed in the spiritual. So you cannot, in this life, you cannot be neutral. You are just joking, you are deceiving yourself. It's either you belong to the spiritual, and that is why you see some people join occultic group or prayer group. But you say you want to, that, you don't belong to the occultic, and you don't belong to the spiritual secret. You claim to be neutral. No. Examine yourself in the real life too. So you just have to be, because whatever you do, before you act, before you carry out a certain action, you must have thought about it. that your thought is from spiritual, from invisible realm. It is critically important. So there's nothing actually you intend to do that it will not go, it will not be, there's nothing that is taking place in the physical that is not being controlled by the spiritual realm. The word you are hearing now, it first existed from invisible, because it has to come from thinking faculty coming down to physical life. Okay, so it has to do with this. So if you want to go along, you want to assist, you want to control the physical realm, you just have to go into the spiritual realm. It's either by prayer, any aspect of prayer, the way you know you can talk to your God. But this is in two ways, either from the occultic or from the prayer life. But actually, there is nothing, because it has to do with divine and dark. Occultic represents dark, while why prayer life represents the divine. Anyhow you think about it. But the reality is that you have to understand, because the money you are pursuing is spiritual in itself. And I'll quickly tell you how money itself is spiritual. Money itself is as the soul, spirit, and body. The spirit there is what we call the spiritual. The spirit of money, it triggers. When you have money now, your emotion will change. Something triggers you. Oh, today probably you jam like $1 million. Your temperament will change. Your emotion will change. Something from spiritual triggers you, change your character, change your behavior. So now the money itself, the money you understand as spiritual nature, until you understand this, that this money you are talking about as a kind of spiritual, where you understand the nature of money. That is, have you ever imagined money? When you don't have money, study your temperament. And you just receive a lot of money. Bam! And when you receive a lot of money, your temperament will change. This is what we call money as a spirit. Some people will say, oh, it is very hard to get money. It's going to be hard until you understand that money goes to people that actually understand it. And that is why I am saying that money itself is a spirit. Until you try to understand, until you try to study money and know that money itself has a spirit. So if you are now claiming that, oh, you don't belong to either, you don't belong to no, you are neutral. Either you are into occultic to control, or you are into define to control. But if you claim you are neutral, that is difficult a little. Because this spiritual, okay, shapes destiny. No, it controls destiny, it controls opportunity, okay, it controls economy, it controls. Oh, Shadrach Tababrata 1214. Sorry if I cannot pronounce your name properly, the name of your channel properly. Chandrakata Bera 1214. How to be happy what you have. Even Elon Musk might not be satisfied. Well, yeah, it is natural. And that is the nature of money. That's why we are saying that money is spiritual until you understand the nature of money. Because even you just if you just go to economics, you just learn small, you understand the law of diminishing return. That is, when you continue to have something, maybe like for instance now, water as an instance, you are drinking water, you get to a level that you not have interest in it again. Or maybe you are sleeping, you are enjoying your sleeping, you get to a period you will not have interest in sleeping again. But the case of money is quite different. Okay, the case of money is different. When you are making money, you cannot be tired of making money. That is the spiritual aspect of money. And that is why we are saying that you understand the nature of money. That is, if you don't understand money and you believe that money is not spiritual on its own, and that is the second nature, you just cap it all. You cap it all. Hi guy, I appreciate your comments. Okay, so it is the third aspect of education we are talking about. That is, you understand that life is divine or dark. That is, life is spiritual. There's nothing taking place in the physical realm that has not existed in the spiritual realm. And that is exactly what we are saying. The more money you make, the more happy you feel. And when you don't have money, you will not understand how you are feeling in your body. You won't be able to explain it. How you are feeling in your body. What is happening to you? But the moment you get alert, you receive money, bam, like dollars. You understand? Your attitude changed. Your emotion changed. Everything about you change immediately. And that is exactly the spiritual aspect of money. Now, let's move on. Another aspect of money, education, is we have discussed the first one, personal education. We have discussed academic education. We have looked at spiritual education. Now we look at the marketplace education. You might understand yourself. That is about personal education. You might have academic education, yet you are still relevant at the marketplace. The market education has to do with your experience, how system works, how organization works, how society works. And I'll give you an example. For instance, now, if you are applying for a job, for instance, now you have BSc economics, you have BSc accounting, or probably engineering. And they ask you that, for you to do this job, you must be a graduate. And while you are a graduate, you must have 3 years working experience or 3 years industrial experience. That 3 years industrial experience is what we tag as marketplace education. It's very important, because you might be a first class graduate and you get to a place of work and you crash. You can crash. Please, if you are just joining this channel for the first time, please, I plead with you, please hit the like button and subscribe. Go to the subscribe button, please subscribe and hit the comment section. Please put your comment, please. Please. Let's hear your view. Let's hear your opinion. Put down your comment. That's great. So as I'm saying, there's no way, almost no way, that when you don't have marketplace experience, there's no way you can probably function in a place or in a system. You have to understand how the system works. You have to understand how the organization works. Okay, so it's very important you understand. It has to do with experience about the system, experience about the society, experience about the organization. And that is why teamwork, loyalty, discipline, how authority works, your promptness to the work, submission to the authority, all these things are very, very important for you to function properly in organization. Okay? It is very important. It is very, very germane that you understand how people work. You understand how system works. Yeah. Thank you. At Chandraka Bera 1214. Thank you very much. It has to do exactly. You are correct. You are going with me. Oh guys, I appreciate you. That is how the quantum of experience you get matters. You can be a first class graduate, but when you get to a place of work, when you get to a system, when you get to a society, you can crash if you don't actually know. So it has to do with how and where you get to experience. It is very important. If it is not relevant, no one will hire you. So it is very important that you don't limit yourself to academic education alone. You don't limit yourself to spiritual education alone. You don't limit yourself to personal education. The marketplace education is very important, and that is why internship, mentorship, all these are very important. You think about all these, they are as well greatly important. They are very fantastically important. We have discussed four fundamental education now that you need. I discussed the first one, personal education. You need to understand yourself. You need to know who are you. You need to know your weaknesses. You need to understand your strengths. You need to know what triggers you, what triggers your anger, what triggers your happiness, your ability to manage your temperament. You need to know yourself. How can you maximize your potentials? How can you work? How can you manage yourself that you don't crash down? That is the first one. It has to do with personal education, knowing yourself, understand yourself. Know yourself is very important, it's very fundamental, it's very greatly involved in the journey of life. Then number two has to do with academic education. Yes, some people will say certification is overrated. No, it is very important as well. At least you'll be able to communicate. You'll be able to get to navigate through the basics of life. These are very important. At least you'll be able to count one. You'll be able to count two. You'll be able to add up things when you are academically educated. Okay, you'll be able to sign, you'll be able to read through documents. You don't sign you won't be deceived. You'll be able to read through. When you want to sign contracts, you know how to sign contracts. You'll be able to read through. You'll be able to understand. This is the basics. This is the most important aspect of academic education. That is, when you want to sign a check, You know, when you want to sign a contract, you read through. This is the import of academic education. Then the third one we discuss is spiritual education. Yes, there's nothing like neutral ground in life. I said whatever that happens in the physical life has existed in the spiritual life. So it is very important that you you are informed. And I gave you the example of money. Money itself is spiritual. So if you are not spiritual, how will you understand money? And it's either you when you are into spiritual, it's either you belong to the dark side or divine side. But what is important is that you belong to the spiritual so that you understand the basics of life. You understand the realities of life. And that is exactly what our spiritual education is talking about. Then come to the fourth one. This fourth one is what we call marketplace education. It does not, it complements. It cannot stand on its own. You need the practical knowledge. Which experience do you get? Where do you get it? How do you get it? I mean, where do you get the experience? How do you get the experience? All these things matter, as they are very important. And that is exactly that we are talking about when we are referring to marketplace experience. It is very fundamental for you that you have the marketplace. Yeah, when you are a fresh graduate, somebody is just saying that out of a fresh graduate, yes, that is why you can go for mentorship or internship. All these things are there to equip you with relevant experience so that you know how system works, how organization works, how society works, how you can operate in a teamwork, how you can operate in a teamwork, how loyalty work, how discipline works, how you submit yourself to authority, okay, promptness to work. How do you implement policies? How do you relate with policies? How do you formulate policies? All these things will not be taught in schools. Even if they are taught in school, that is theoretical realm. In the practical, how all these things work within the system, you just need to experience it. And that is exact way we are talking. And now, the last one, which is not the least and is not the most important, the five of them are very, very fundamental. No one is too big, no one is too small. And the fifth one is financial education. You can't be taught this in schools. The schools will give you the principles of life, the theories, the principles, okay? But financial education will not be taught. You can be a PhD in engineering, PhD in finance, PhD in economics, and you still remain broke because nobody would teach you how money works. Financial education is you understand three basic things, and I'll be taking them one by one. How three things work. The first one is how to make money. The second one is how to manage money. And the third one is how to multiply money. I'll bring the three together. Some people will say they understand how to make money, how to manage money, how to multiply money. They are working, doing 2, 3, 4 jobs in a day, 2, 3, 4 jobs in a week, 2, 3, 4 jobs in a month. And at the end of the month, they receive incomes from different sources, from 2, 3, 4 sources of jobs. They receive income and gladly they claim they are having multiple sources of income. This is a big lie. It's a self-deception. It is a self-deception. You are not engaging in multiple stream of income. Rather, you are engaging in multiple struggle. You are engaging in multiple struggles. You are not engaging in multiple streams of income. Because the fact is this, and that is why you don't understand what we call how to make money. You don't understand how to manage money, and you don't understand how to multiply money. The three places or 4 places where you are working, we call all the places multiple struggle, not multiple stream of income. Because your presence matters there, because your energy matters there. So if you stop going to one place, income will stop coming to you. You see how struggling you are. If you don't put your energy there, income will not come to you. You see now. But how to make money has to do with using your logic, using your intelligence. We have about three types of income. The first one is one-end income. Another one is always income. And the third one is passive income. The first one that I call one-head income, that is, you are there. You work, you'll be paid. You are working in a place, you appear there physically, you carry out instructions how to do a job and you do it, or probably at the end of the month, at the end of the week, or whatever, you earn your income. And you don't go there the next day, you are not paid. That is one hand. That's finished. That is number one of making income. Number two, you invest, you do a job once and you continue to receive income. Probably you put up a building, estate. By the time you build your house, you are working once. By the time you put up your building, maybe you build a house, you are working at that moment. And the income will continue to come for life. That is always income. Then the third one is passive income. Maybe you invest in a company. Even when you sleep, income will be coming. When you sleep, even when you are dead, your children will still continue to earn that income. So now, for you how to make money now, for you to be the first set of income is not advisable. That is, if you are not there, you don't earn. If you don't work, you don't earn. That is not the kind of income we are discussing here. But you might start from that place. Then you save. When you save, you invest. This is the kind of financial education that you need, that schools will not teach you. No school will teach you this. You understand? No school will teach you this. You understand that you have to add up. You have to save bit by bit. You add them up. Maybe you put up a building. Maybe you invest in a company. You don't keep cash in bank account and you think such will multiply. No, you don't do it. But gradually you continue to build up your assets. So financial education has to do with understanding three basic things. How to make money. Some make money and spend it. They don't save. They don't invest. You see now, you make, you save, you invest. But some make and squander. Okay, and when you are now, the second stage is how to manage money. When you make money, you have three options. You make money now, you can squander it, you can waste it. It's an option. You can spend it. It's another option. Wasting money means that you buy what you don't even need. You waste it, you spend your money anyhow. Okay? Then spending your money means that you don't waste it, but you choose not to save. Then the third one is you invest your money. You spend part of it. You save part of it to be invested. That is how to manage money. Now, how to multiply money now? You now think about, if I make money, will I spend the whole money? Will I invest this money and be patient enough for a period of time? You delay your gratification. For a period of time, you try to look, what can I do? How can I invest this money that will multiply in the future? You think about this. Okay? So now, if you're able to, now financial education also guide you to understand the difference between asset and liability. Some people invest their money on on liability, thinking it is on asset. So financial education will guide you to understand. Knowing asset and liability will be discussed in the next class, when we'll be meeting in the next discussion. Okay, you understand how to create wealth, how to multiply your investment, how to analyze. So if you don't understand money, okay, money cannot stay with you. Money can only stay with people that actually understand money. And that's why some people will say, it is very hard, money is very hard to get. It is very difficult to get money. The truth is this: money is moving. And money will move to people that understand it. Okay? So remember one thing is very important. And what is that thing? Your learning capacity will determine your earning capacity. Your learning capacity will determine your earning capacity. The more you learn, the more you earn. Because your ability to think has to do with what is in your upstairs. And that is why your 5 dimensions of education is key. Okay, financial education is never taught in the forum of the class. Okay, it has to do. You can only learn financial education through your personal commitment to personal growth. If you want to grow personally, you want to upgrade yourself, you want to build yourself. Now, let us ask ourselves. Imagine you combine the 5 dimensions together. You understand yourself very deeply. You understand yourself very deeply. You have the knowledge of yourself. Okay, you understand your weakness, your nature. You understand your strengths. Okay, and just imagine, for instance, now you have enough academic education, get through the basics of life. That is, no one will cheat you, no one will deceive you. And now imagine that you have the knowledge of marketplace education, that you can be made relevant in the market. You are indispensable in the society, and you have spiritual education. Just imagine, you have spiritual education. Okay, you can secure your destiny in the unseen realm. Okay, and you have financial education, which is the ultimate. Okay, and this is not, when we say you are having financial education, it is not only that you are rich, you are worthy enough to leave a legacy behind you for the generations coming. Okay, so this is what we are discussing. And today you have heard me make a step further, go for better empowerment. Okay, try to understand this. Try to understand this. Try to have the knowledge. Try to have understanding about these 5 dimensions of education. Okay, and which one are you missing now? Let us ask ourselves. Let us ask ourselves, which one are you missing right now? Which one out of the 5 are you missing? If you are just watching this video now, let us ask ourselves, which one are you missing? Just don't nod your head. Just don't think this. I'm asking you, is it personal education you are missing? Now, if it is personal education, start today. Start examining yourself. Start thinking about what you can do. Start about this. Okay? If it is academic education, commit yourself to a lifelong learning. Commit yourself to a lifelong learning. Just start, commit yourself. If it is a marketplace education, yes, you cannot buy this in the market, but you can put yourself into mentorship. You can put yourself into mentorship. You can put yourself into internship. Yes, you can do it. And if it is spiritual education, you can deepen your life into prayer. Yes, like I said earlier, it's either you belong to the dark room or the divine room. So you can deepen yourself. And if it is financial education, you can begin to read books on financial education, books on money education. Success is never accidental. Success in any way, it is never accidental. It is a product of intentional education across all these. It is intentional education across all these 5 dimensions. Across all these 5 dimensions. So I've discussed with you today. So I brought this before you today. Listen to it again, listen to it again, and if it works with you, please share it across and drop your comment. So this will guide what to discuss in the next episode. Thank you and bye.